first story is titled, Am I the a-hole for holding my stepsister's mother's ashes until she returns my dog to me? Throwaway because this whole drama is stupid. I am ashamed of it. I, 20 female, was temporarily living with my mother, stepfather, and stepsister, 14. Me and stepsister were never close. She hates me and my mother, thinking that my mother stole her father away after her own mother passed. It has been that way for 4 years already, and while she is in slightly better terms with my mother, she still constantly tries to disturb me because I'm not as tolerant as my mother. As for my stepfather, he is quite okay, but he would pretend to ignore me in front of my stepsister sometimes, because she would throw a fuss about it. I was supposed to move to a rather far place to work and study. My father arranged for me to move in after renovations are done, bringing my dog with me. When I first brought my dog to my mother's a few months ago, my stepsister seemingly fell in love with him. At first, it was just me taking care of him. Then we took turns taking him out. For a while, I even thought that we could have gotten along better because we both loved the dog. And one day, my sister returned without my dog and announced that she had given him away, just to spite me. She got what she wanted, and no matter how nicely or nastily I asked her, she wouldn't tell me where she took him. I complained it to my mother and stepfather, but they couldn't get her to talk either. She had this attitude of trying me whenever she gets stubborn. I was to move in 2 days, and I guess she wanted to keep my dog for herself or make me miss my cross-country train. I know it is despicable, but I was worried for my pup and whatever she could have done with him. I sneaked into her room when she was not looking and took her mother's ash urn. I know this was precious to her, precious enough to be used to make her talk. I hid the urn somewhere she would never find. Sure enough, my stepsister lost it completely when she realized what I did, and similarly, I'd never talk no matter what my mother or stepfather say. After all those screaming and crying, she finally gave in and admitted that she brought him to her friends. After taking the trip and passing my dog back to me, she demanded to have the urn back, but I did not tell her until my day of departure, in case she wanted to pull some sick prank again. Everybody I know of, including my own father, thinks that I took it too far. Well, in the end, nothing really bad happened. I did it in the worst way possible, quoted by my mother, who did nothing to help either. It was my stepsister who started it. She knew how important my pup is to me, and she tried to take him away from me, so I used a similar way to make her return him, and it worked. I didn't do it out of spite, just making use of what I could to get my dog back. So, in this case, am I the a-hole? Now, for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. She did this to herself, and shame on her for bringing an innocent animal into her personal feud. The reason others don't get it is because they don't have a bond with the dog as you do. They just see it as another dog. Agreed, not the a-hole. I also think Opie's relationship with her parents and stepsister is just nuked at this point. If her parents enabled her stepsister to steal her dog and just be too stubborn to give it back, that's horrendous behavior that they just threw their hands up for. Opie needs a therapist to probably unpack whatever else harmful thing her parents have likely taught her in regards to stepsister is greater than Opie. Not the a-hole, but dang, your parents need to step up. She is a problem. To be honest, I wish Opie called the cops on all of them for robbery/kidnapping. Not the a-hole. Congrats to you for finding a creative solution. However, this does mean probably never letting anyone in your extended family into your home for more than a minute, as a precedent for ransoming has now been established. Watch your back. Still worth it though. I think at this point, any relationship between Opie and her family ain't worth it. Yeah, the sis will know Opie is not to be messed with and won't take it like the parents do. They need to step up, particularly the father. It was an extreme measure, but there was no choice, not the a-hole. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister that she deserved to get a divorce? I, 15 male, live with my parents in a cramped apartment. They try their best to keep us afloat, and it's not a bad apartment, so I can't be mad about it. However, things got pretty bad when my, 31 female, sister moved in after her divorce. We've never gotten along well because of the age gap, but ever since the divorce, things are even worse. She goes out at parties all night and then comes back home and sleeps all day. She practically makes our mother do everything, including caring for her. My mom has to do all of my sister's laundry, all of her dishes, and drive her to and fro places. My mom is a very sweet, quiet, soft-spoken person who gets frazzled very easily. And if she does something wrong, my sister will go off on her and make her cry. When my dad comes home from work, my sister will come out of her hiding hole and demand that he do stuffs, like go get her Starbucks or some new clothing accessories at the mall. Dumb crap like that always gets done, because my parents will do anything for us, which is fine, up until it reaches that limit. My sister doesn't work, so she mooches money off of everybody, including me. I have tried to get my parents to stop it, but they say that there's little that they can do because she's an adult, and they want her to be happy. They do give me money in return, but that's not the point I'm trying to make, and have just stopped bringing it up because we're not in a good enough financial situation for that. When my sister moved in, my parents wanted her to have a privacy, so they asked me to sleep on the couch. Okay, fine. I've started sleeping on the couch, but then my sister started complaining about the freaking decorations that were in there and made my parents and I move everything so she could make the room into her own. My sister has also started smoking in the apartment unit, even though it's against the rules and could get us kicked out, pouring water on the cat like a freaking psychopath, and bullying me about the most innocuous crap. I finally lost it yesterday night and yelled at my sister that she deserved to get a divorce and that I don't blame her husband for treading wood, although he should have done it a long time ago. They'd been married for a year. My sister, predictably, pitched a fit, and my parents blamed me, even though she's been the one terrorizing us for the past month. Am I the a-hole? Because these freaks certainly think I am. Now, for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Sure, your reaction was harsh, but pouring water on a cat is abusive, especially if it doesn't like water. She sounds like a nightmare. Not the a-hole. My family has a similar dynamic, where my parents are very non-confrontational towards my younger sister, who very much has no contact unless she wants something, usually money. I personally think that not enforcing boundaries with her made her the way she is. I think some tough love in your situation is highly warranted. Not the a-hole. She's abusive to all of you, including your cat. She will never get better while your parents continue to enable her. This right here. Opie's parents need to stop allowing her to treat everyone else like slaves. They need to tell her to get over herself or GTFO. Not the a-hole. Your sister sucks. Understandably, a divorce can be rough, and I can sympathize with your parents trying to be extra supportive, even with her being a bit extra for the time being. But the mooching and taking over your room is ridiculous. Don't sympathize with the parents. They're encouraging this stupid behavior. I agreed for the first half of the post that maybe the parents were giving some leeway because she was grieving. Post didn't mention how long ago she moved in. But by the second half, I lost any sympathy for her. Not the a-hole. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for calling my sister a failure in life and asking her to take care of herself? So, I, 23 female, have a lot of siblings. My dad got married 5 times and has divorced 4 times, has 12 children in total, probably more that he does not even know about. I know it sounds so hard to believe, but we come from a culture where you are asked to have a lot of kids and are even praised for it. I don't maintain contact with most of them, only my half-sister and brother. Recently, as in 2 months ago, I got a call from my oldest half-sister, 41 female. Let's call her Nadine. Nadine said she was stranded in the city I live in after a Tinder date gone wrong. She had met someone online and traveled here to meet them and got catfished. She got robbed and needed some place to stay, so I gladly took her in. In my life, I've only met Nadine a bunch of times. The age gap is too big for us to actually have anything to bond over. She asked if she could stay with me for a while as my roommate, and I told her she can, if she pays rent and does some chores, and she agreed. In the time she has been living with me, she has been making comments about how I earn my money. I earn a good amount. I managed to buy a shabby house with it. It may be messy, but a home is a home. I earn through an online adult site and some other ventures, and Nadine found it despicable. A week in, she began trying to talk me out of it. She said I was making a mistake, going against God, yada yada. I said I didn't need her input on it, and that if she has a problem with it, she can leave. She kept pressing me about it, and I've been ignoring it until today when she asked me to come speak to her. She said that as my older sister, she was going to make sure I stop doing the sinful things and choose a more proper path, and that she will inform my parents about how I am earning money. They think I have a desk job. I told her she is full of it, that this is my business. She has no right over me. Well, she called up my parents and told them, and I am pissed. My parents have threatened to disown me, and I honestly can't understand what she expected to gain from it. So, I told her she has 2 days to pack up and leave, and she said I was becoming a pathetic loser and some other stuff. I found that hilarious. Since she was 41 with no spouse, no home of her own, she couch surfs her way through life and hasn't held a good job for more than 6 months. She literally got catfished and robbed and had to move into my home as she had nowhere to go. I called her a failure at life, that she has nothing to her name, no one who is even willing to take her in anymore because she has lived over 40 years without a plan or goal. That she should take care of herself and make something of herself before she can lecture me about her archaic opinions. She cried about it, and I ignored her and made myself dinner. Well, she said she will move out, and my parents are still pissed at me, but can't really do anything to me. I feel bad about what I said, but I also feel it's justified. I don't know, man. Am I the a-hole? Now, for the top comments. Not the a-hole. She needed a wake-up call. What she did crosses the line, especially after you helped her out so much. She purposefully revealed personal information to the parents with the hope OP is disowned. She is a downright deplorable person trying to manipulate the situation so that she gets her way. OP is a saint. I would have immediately kicked her out because the sister showed malicious intent in her actions. What's to stop her from calling the cops and file a false report or attempt to claim tenancy or adverse possession of the property within those 2 days? There have been instances where the homeowners goes out for the night and returns home to find occupants claiming adverse possession. Homeowners calls law enforcement for trespassing, but the officers cite the situation as a civil situation. The occupants lied about the length of their stay. Not the a-hole. She started crap and couldn't take it. Good work in putting her in her place and removing her from your home. Not the a-hole. What you said was harsh, but true. Also, your dad sounds like a real freaking piece of work. Disowning you over your job, but he doesn't even know how many kids he has. I was about to comment the same thing. How can you disown your child over her job when he probably was doing the same thing? Hence all the children he has. Lol, ridiculous. I wouldn't listen if I were OP. She's doing what's best for herself. That's all that matters. And that's the end of this video, folks. As always, leave a comment and hit like and subscribe. And if you want more of this content, turn your notification on to get updated on the latest videos. And I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe.